My stepsister Maya was brutally assaulted in front of everyone by her husband. When I tried to step in and protect her, I ended up paralyzed. My stepmom pleaded with me not to file any charges. Her boyfriend threatened that if I didn't take legal action against his wife, he'd ditch her and marry Maya instead. It's tough for a woman to find a wealthy guy, and if I support Maya now, she'll have my back down the line. I fought hard not to go along, but my dad gave me a hard slap, sending me sprawling onto the bed. He said, "You're already a hassle, serves you right." They made me sign a statement forging it. Maya got what she wanted, marrying into money. Meanwhile, my parents quickly had more kids to keep the family name going. As for me, I was left to fend for myself in the basement. When I finally opened my eyes, I was back to the day Maya was publicly beaten by her husband. "Jess, hurry, save your sister. She's mixed up with some thugs," the voice snapped me back to it. As I woke up in the dark, stepmom was holding my hand, tears streaming down her face, begging me to rescue her daughter Maya. Bright sunlight streamed in, warming me and reminding me how long I'd been stuck in that dark basement. "Jess, what are you thinking? Go help your sister, she's in deep trouble," she pulled me, rushing me to the door. It all hit me. I had a second chance. It was the afternoon my stepmom told me Maya was targeted by some thugs because of her looks. Before I got tangled in their story, rushing over only to find Maya wasn't dealing with thugs. Instead, she was being taken down as the other woman by her husband's wife, who wasn't someone to mess with and had called in backup to surround the place. Afraid her reputation would be trashed if the cops got involved, Maya tricked me into helping her. Even knowing the truth, I tried to talk to her wife, arguing that Maya didn't know about his marriage. The wife started to soften, agreeing to let Maya leave. But then Maya, trying to act tough, said, "I knew you'd let me go. You wouldn't dare mess with me. Ryan will divorce you and marry me. You're just a washed-up ex-wife now." The wife's crew, hearing Maya's cocky attitude, couldn't hold back. I had to protect Maya, letting her escape while taking the beating that left me paralyzed. Although I was paralyzed, my injuries weren't that severe. The doctor said I might walk again with rehab, but it was pricey. Money wasn't my main worry, they owed me since I didn't fight back knowing Maya was in the wrong. I planned to sue for my medical bills, but halfway through, my stepmom barged in, demanding I drop the case. "Sign this, don't go after those who hurt you," she insisted. I refused, needing the money for treatment. "You think we can cover those costs?" "I can't sign," I said. She then knelt beside me, crying, "Jess, I know you're pissed at me, but don't wreck Maya's future out of spite. Her boyfriend will marry her if you don't sue his wife. Help her now, and she'll take care of you later." "And what about my legs? Without treatment, I'll be paralyzed for life," I stood my ground. But my dad slapped me again, numbing one side of my face. "Useless, and now you're dragging your sister down. You deserve to be crippled," he forced me to sign. Maya married into wealth. On her wedding day, I was kicked out of the hospital and thrown into the basement. No one fed me or gave me water. They all celebrated their new rich connection, not caring about my plight. Time passed until the door creaked open. Stepmom, now pregnant, appeared, seeing me alive but looking disappointed. "Jess, go in peace. I'm having a son to carry the family name now. We don't need you here," she said. I was given another shot at life. My mind snapped back as I jerked my stepmom's hand away and said coldly, "How can regular folks like us take down the mob? We should just call the police." Stepmom was stunned, clearly not expecting me to stand up to her. "But she's your little sister. You don't care about her well-being, Jess. How can you be so selfish?" "Little sister? You mean Maya, from another mother and father?" I corrected her, pulling out my phone as if to call the police. "No, you can't call the cops. How will Maya face people if this gets out?" Stepmom lunged to grab my phone. "Jess, you're overthinking this. Society's more open-minded now. It's not her fault she's being harassed because she's attractive. People will sympathize, she argued. Oh, come on, stepmom stomped her foot. You're coming with me, end of story. But let's be real, the strength of a middle-aged woman couldn't match an adult like me. I gave her a little shove, almost making her stumble back. I'm not feeling well today, so I can't help my sister. You can choose whether to call the cops or find someone else to save her, I said. Stepmom shot me an angry glare, realizing she couldn't manipulate me this time. She stormed off, grumbling as she left. Looking out the window, I saw her rushing away, but she wasn't heading to where Maya was caught. In my past life, she drove me there only to hide in the car out of fear like a coward. In this life, without me as the fall guy, she ditched her own daughter without hesitation. I hesitated but decided to head to the scene where Maya was getting busted. After all, I wanted to see her being scorned by her wife firsthand. Last life, saving Maya left me paralyzed, and instead of gratitude, she belittled me and spat on me. How shameless are you? You're disabled yet you still cling to this life. If I were you, I'd be gone, she had said. I wanted to see if Maya, now crippled, had the guts to go through with it. Sadly, when I arrived, I was disappointed. This time she wasn't acting cocky in front of her wife. She was tearfully remorseful. Sis, I know I was wrong, but I love Ryan too much to control myself, she cried. The cheating man stood by Maya. We know it's hurtful, but you need to realize I'm not in love with you anymore. Let's just part ways amicably, he said. Turns out he was there all along, he just didn't show up last time. The drama ended with Maya getting slapped twice, and her wife leaving with her crew. The next morning, our door was hammered on. Half asleep, I opened it to see stepmom and Maya with a swollen cheek. Jess, I brought your sister to see you. Even though she's hurt because of you, we're still family. We won't hate you, Maya played along, covering her swollen face, looking pitiful. Yeah, don't blame yourself, sis. I don't hold grudges. Her injuries are so minor they'd heal overnight, I said. Now both of them were acting all dramatic just to guilt-trip me. Who did this to my sister? I can't let it slide. Sister, just wait. I'll get vengeance for you. No need, no need. Maya's injuries aren't severe. Just pay a bit for recovery, stepmom forced a smile. I ignored her, pushing them toward the door, ready for revenge. Where to? An internet cafe. I posted online asking local netizens for info on the incident, offering a reward for truthful leads. Right after posting, eyewitness videos and pictures flooded my inbox. After all, witnessing an affair bust isn't something you see every day. The crowd loved the drama, and some had captured plenty of footage. With a reward offered, everyone was too happy to share. I paid a few people who sent videos, then announced I'd got all the info needed, asking everyone to keep it confidential. But rumors started spreading online, with everyone discussing the paid gossip. By evening, the video of Maya being caught was everywhere. Everyone, including family and neighbors, knew. An uncle who wasn't fond of us even shared the video in the family group chat. Hey Dad, this is your daughter, right? Caught having an affair. How did you raise her? My dad stayed silent in the chat but kept blowing up my phone. What happened? Why didn't you pay to suppress your sister's scandal online? I hung up without hesitation. My phone kept ringing. I blocked him. Then texts came. How did I raise such a selfish person like you, ignoring your own sister? I blocked his messages too. Finally quiet, I watched the video of Maya getting hit but noticed something wrong. A familiar face popped up. My stepmom's brother was mingling with the wife's group. In my past life, I remembered someone in the crowd urging others to hit me. A voice I now recognized as his. Stepmom's brother, a loafer totally dependent on her for handouts, wouldn't act against Maya without orders. Only one explanation made sense. He stirred the mob under stepmom's command, targeting me. Thinking back to my previous life, scenes played in my mind. I was paralyzed after a beating, and the wife, who initially had the upper hand, quickly lost her edge. In the end, she had no choice but to agree to a peaceful divorce with that cheating guy, and they split the assets. Meanwhile, Maya got her wish and married into a wealthy family, throwing a lavish wedding. Stepmom even bought her brother a house, claiming it was to thank him for taking care of us all these years. Looking back now, it was less about gratitude and more about rewarding him for helping orchestrate the attack that left me paralyzed. The phone rang again, an unfamiliar number. Finally, you picked up, you worthless piece of trash. Your sister's in a mess because of you, and you act like nothing happened. It was my dad. My mom died when I was young, so I grew up with my dad. He loved gambling and drinking, and all the government aid we got went straight into his habits. Whenever he got drunk, he'd hit me with whatever he could grab, really going to town. But when he sobered up, he'd hug me and cry, saying it wasn't intentional, just that he missed mom too much. If it wasn't for raising you, I'd have followed your mom a long time ago, he always told me. Whenever he met neighbors, he'd rant about how cruel it was that my mom left him and how much he missed her. This man, who claimed to be so devoted to his late wife, didn't hesitate to blow all the money I made on getting himself a new wife once I started earning. And this seemingly emotional man slapped me hard when I was bedridden, forcing me to sign a waiver so Maya's luxurious marriage plans wouldn't be spoiled. Despite financially supporting him for years, he had no issue kicking me out of the hospital due to money complaints, letting me starve in a dark basement. Worried I'd hang up, he quickly said, "Tomorrow your sister needs to go out. Make sure you're home to drive her. If you don't come, I'll make a scene at your workplace. Let's see if you're embarrassed." I gritted my teeth. "All right, I'll be there." "Glad you know your place," he thought he'd successfully intimidated me, sounding smug. I knew tomorrow would be another scheme plotted by stepmom and Maya, but since avoiding it once didn't mean avoiding it forever, I played along to see what they had up their sleeves this time. The next morning, as soon as I arrived at my dad's place, the three of them were sitting on the couch, looking all cheerful. My dad frowned in dissatisfaction when I walked in. "Why are you so late? Can you take responsibility if you delay your sister's affairs?" "Oh, it's fine. Maya must be busy too, and I'm already grateful she's helping to drive me around," my stepsister chimed in, sweet and considerate. "You're too soft-hearted. A younger sister shouldn't always be letting her older sister off the hook like this," my dad said, clearly moved by her act. "Are we going or not?" "I've got things to do." "Yeah, let's go." Maya, with her rented designer bag, casually settled into my car and gave a location. It was an old run-down neighborhood with loose security, easy to drive into. When we got there, I opened the car door and told her to get out. But she turned back, opened my door with a gentle smile, and said, "Jess, thanks for the ride. Come in and have some tea." "No thanks, I've got things to do." "Sis, are you mad at me?" "I'm sorry for troubling you. I just want to work hard so our family has a good life, but for now, I have to disturb you." She looked like she was tearing up, but her grip on my sleeve was tight. According to their plan, that tea was something I had to drink. I fainted reluctantly and got out of the car. "All right, I'll come in." Satisfied, she smiled. She led me through the complex, up flights of stairs in the old building until we were out of breath. Stopping at door 52, she opened it with excitement. Peering over her shoulder, I saw a group of people waiting inside. At the center was the ex-wife of the cheating guy, feigning fear. Maya hid behind me and whispered, "Sis, what do we do? This is the same group from last time. Let's escape. I had a gift for you in this room, but now it's impossible to give it to you. It's my fault. Okay, let's get out of here. What kind of gift could be in this shabby place?" Let's go," she stammered, taking aback. "No way." As I tried to pull her down the stairs, she released my hand, saying, "That gift took me forever to prepare for, Maya. I can't let it go to these gangsters." Her uncle's voice then echoed from inside. "Who are you calling gangsters? Get over here and speak up." Seizing the opportunity, Maya dragged me inside. I let her pull me in, finding nearly 20 people cramped in the tight space. She boldly taunted, "The one not loved is the mistress. You gangsters can't keep your man's heart, so you show off with some thug." It was unfold just like last time. Her uncle loudly yelled, shamelessly bold. "After all you've done, guys, get her." Provoked by Maya and egged on by her uncle, the crowd couldn't hold back and rushed forward. Maya pushed me deeper into the room, trying to escape. Too bad for her, I came prepared. In the blink of an eye, as she turned around, I yanked her back sharply and used her to block the beer bottle aimed at my head. Maya let out a piercing scream and then collapsed limply to the ground. Seeing her knocked out, everyone else panicked and started dropping their weapons, trying to flee. Everything was exactly like in my past life, except this time it was Maya who got hurt, not me. I quickly shut the door with a flick of my wrist. Someone's hurt, and we don't know if they'll make it. No one's leaving until we find out who did this, the original wife snapped out of her shock and stood up from the couch, walking over to me. I called these people. Whatever happens, it's on me. Let them go, and we can talk compensation, I said. I wasn't surprised by her reaction. From my previous life, she would do anything to keep these people out of trouble, even missing the chance to kick the jerk out clean. For my forgiveness, it really showed her character. "Miss Lisa, are you sure it was your relative who did this? What do you even mean by that?" Hearing this, my stepmom's brother's face went pale with shock, and he hung his head, hoping not to get noticed. But I wasn't giving him any chance to play dead. I pointed at him directly. I saw it clearly. It was him. "Are you sure he's your relative?" The original wife followed my finger, looking puzzled. "Is he a friend?" Someone called out. The men exchanged looks, all saying they didn't know him. My stepmom's brother was getting nervous, glancing around, trying to find someone to side with, but no one wanted that trouble. Finally, he stammered, "I think I went to the wrong place. My friend told me to come for support but didn't give an address. I saw a big group and joined in. Didn't think I got it wrong." "Wrong place? You've been here all this time and still can't tell if they're your friends?" I noticed him straight away when we came in. "You were the first to say fight, and the one swinging the beer bottle," I said. Hearing me, people around started looking at him with suspicion. I really came to the wrong place. She was just so provoking. Isn't that just human nature? "Oh really? Didn't you say a friend asked you to come for support?" "Show the chat logs then." He had nothing more to say, mumbling for a while. He couldn't come up with a single excuse. The crowd finally understood. This jerk, he just mixed in to get us in trouble. I thought he looked unfamiliar but figured he was someone's buddy helping out. Almost got into big trouble, one of the more impulsive guys grabbed him by the collar. "Spill it. Why are you here to mess with us?" My stepmom's brother showed some backbone and clammed up despite the pressing. I watched their little drama with cold indifference, only pretending to remind them when I saw that Maya's bleeding had stopped. "Stop bickering and let's get her to the hospital." The heated crowd finally remembered there was someone sprawled on the floor. "And this punk, send him to the cops. You can all leave now." "No, no cameras here, and you didn't do anything," the original wife and her group looked at me, surprised. I didn't explain further. "We'll talk when we get the chance." Seeing that I was letting everyone else go, blaming him, my stepmom's brother couldn't hold it in. "Jess, look closer. I'm your uncle. How can you side with outsiders to harm me?" "Uncle? My mom is an only child. How could you be my uncle?" "Your stepmom's brother, her actual uncle," he pointed to my unconscious Maya on the ground. "Impossible. No real uncle would harm his niece like this. You're just lying because I don't know my stepmom's family well. You think you can fool me? Wait, I'll make sure you lose everything and end up in jail." I didn't want to hit her. "Who knew you?" He cut himself off, then switched to begging. "Don't call the cops. I'll have your stepmom explain everything." So you just don't want me to call the cops so you can run off, huh? I responded. Wait until I do and you're done for. Stepmom's brother, a no-good fool, fell for my bluff. He began wailing desperately. No way. My son wants to be a government official. I was here because your stepmom asked me to. She wanted to hurt you so you'd be forced into a peaceful divorce and your sister could marry rich. I was just following her plan. The original wife was utterly stunned. Did Ryan know about this too? Of course he doesn't. He doesn't want you catching him cheating and taking everything. He'd jump at a chance to keep the money. The room was thick with tension as I laid out the undeniable truth. With the truth out, I saw the growing fury in her eyes and smiled with satisfaction. Her rage was palpable, each glance burning with the realization of her imminent downfall. Given her constant harassment of the mistress, she still clung to fragile hopes for the relationship, desperately wanting to make things right. She believed that by manipulating the mistress, she could salvage what was left of her crumbling facade. Only by spilling everything, ensuring the wealthy man Maya had snagged went bankrupt, would I truly shatter her intricate schemes and expose her true nature. With everything laid bare, I finally pulled out my phone to dial 911. The decision weighed heavily on me, but it was necessary. This time, Maya's injuries weren't as severe as mine in the past, yet the scars ran deeper. She only had a concussion and would recover with some rest, physically speaking. What she couldn't accept was the scarring of her pride and reputation. Stepmom's brother had smashed the bottle on her head, and the shards had cut her face, leaving visible marks that would serve as a constant reminder of the betrayal and violence she endured. As her mother quietly comforted her in the sterile hospital room, she whispered, "Don't worry. Technology's advanced now. A little surgery can fix this scar." Her voice was soothing, almost mocking in its calmness amidst the chaos. "We'll make that woman agree to divorce, or no forgiveness," Maya yelled like a madwoman, her voice cracking with desperation and anger. "No, I'll make them pay for this. I'll never agree to settle." Her determination was fierce, but beneath it lay a vulnerability that few could see. Stepmom was about to say something more, her words lost to the rising storm of Maya's emotions. But Maya couldn't take it anymore. She jumped up, aiming to hit her own mother in a desperate attempt to regain control. However, because her concussion hadn't fully healed, she felt dizzy and disoriented. The world spun around her, and she ended up throwing up all over Stepmom, the contents of her stomach spilling out in a messy display. Stepmom's face turned green with a mix of disgust and concern. "You have to listen to me today. Don't make a fuss over something so small." Marrying into a rich family is the most important thing, and left the room in a hurry, her heels clicking sharply against the hospital floor. Maya was left alone in the hospital room, sobbing loudly, her cries echoing off the white walls. After a while, she noticed me sitting on the bed next to her, my presence a silent testimony to the turmoil we were both enduring. "Happy now? Look what you've done to me," she cried out, her voice breaking. "How are you going to make it up to me?" I asked softly, the tension between us thick enough to cut with a knife. I smiled gently, masking the turmoil inside me. "I've got lots of compensation lined up for you, sis. This is just the beginning. So sit back and enjoy." My words were calculated, a mix of reassurance and hidden threats. Chaos reigned at home for the coming days. Maya insisted on holding someone responsible and refused to forgive. Her anger festering like an open wound. Stepmom kept saying we needed to look at the bigger picture, trying to use it as leverage to force a peaceful separation, just like last time. She played the role of the concerned mother, but her eyes betrayed her true intentions. Dad, predictably, took Stepmom's side without question. He had a gambling problem and had racked up a lot of debt over the years. He was waiting for Maya to marry into wealth to pay it off, blind to the destruction his actions had caused. Maya's attempts to fight back went unnoticed, her pleas falling on deaf ears. Eventually, Dad got fed up with the constant turmoil and slapped her hard across the face. The sound of the impact echoed in the tense household. "I told you to forgive, so you must," he commanded, his voice a mix of frustration and authority. We raised you to trade for some money. Don't think too highly of yourself. Maya held the bleeding wound on her face, her eyes filled with disbelief as she looked at Dad. Then she turned to Stepmom, who watched coldly from the side, her expression unchanging. Stepmom picked up her purse, her voice chilly and devoid of empathy. Keep this up, and no one can help you, she warned, her words dripping with contempt. The mother and daughter duo spent the next few days arguing relentlessly, their voices echoing from the hospital to home, creating a whirlwind of negativity that consumed everyone around them. They didn't even bother to check who'd been arrested, blinded by their own vendettas. Little did they know, only Stepmom's brother got caught, not the rest of the family as they had assumed. So when they heard Ryan was walking out with nothing, they panicked. This wicked woman, those are her relatives. Isn't she going to do anything about their lives? Stepfather's eyes gleamed with a mix of anger and desperation. Must have been we didn't hurt them enough. A concussion and a little cut doesn't even count as a minor injury. Of course, they're not scared, his tone was dismissive, underestimating the true extent of the harm caused. Then Stepmom looked expectantly at Maya, her gaze piercing. What are you planning, Mom? Save me. I'm your only daughter, Maya pleaded, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and hope. Of course, darling. Mommy's here to help, Stepmom smiled sweetly, but her eyes remained cold and calculating. When Maya fell asleep, that kind and warm smile stayed on her face as she watched Dad grab the vase from the nightstand and smash it down on Maya's head. The sound of shattering glass filled the room, a brutal reminder of the violence that had taken place. Stepmom caressed her stomach, grinning at me as I watched, her eyes never leaving mine. Maya, I'm carrying your father's child. You don't want your little brother to be born with no money, right? The implication was clear, the threat underlying her words unmistakable. Only after they saw Maya barely conscious did they finally call 911, claiming poor initial examination and old injuries flaring up. Unfortunately for them, they underestimated the hospital's vigilance. The arriving doctors instantly recognized the fresh wound and called the police without hesitation. Dad panicked, his facade of control crumbling. My daughter did it. I tried to stop her, but I'm too old to hold her back. Too bad the vase still sat there with fingerprints all over it. Dad was arrested on the spot, his words sealing his fate. Stepmom and I rode with Maya to the hospital in an ambulance, the sirens blaring our impending doom. This time, her injuries were severe, a brain stem injury. She turned into a vegetable, her body lifeless and unresponsive. Stepmom was truly horrified now, her demeanor shifting from cold and calculated to frantic and desperate. She eagerly asked me to drive her to the original wife's house, hoping to blackmail some money before she learned the details. My daughter was beaten by your people, and her condition got worse. She's in a coma. What do you plan to do? Her voice was sharp, accusing. This won't settle for anything less than millions. The original wife came from a wealthy family. Ryan was just a stay-at-home son-in-law. She ran the business and was certainly competent. I responded, my tone firm and unyielding. Last time she held back because relatives were detained. This time only Stepmom's brother was in trouble. She smiled at me before looking at Stepmom. I don't know any of my people hurting your daughter. That's slander, and I can take legal action. You, Stepmom didn't expect her to be unfazed, gasping for air. Name a price. We can negotiate. After all, they're your relatives. The original wife busied herself with her newly manicured cured nails, her actions deliberate and calculated. I said none of my people did it. Now get this crazy woman out of here. Stepmom struggled but to no avail, tossed out by security. She looked back angrily. Fine, you just wait. You'll crawl to me one day. Not bothering to go home, she had me take her to the police station, wanting to find the culprit who hurt her daughter. She planned to stir up trouble between the original wife's people, hoping to cause a scene to get money. But surprise, only her brother was brought in. Why is it just you? Stepmom's brother was full of resentment, pointing at me and cursing. It's all his fault. He identified me right there. His words sealing our plan's demise. Our intricate web of deceit unraveled in an instant. You, stepmom turned incredulously, her voice tinged with disbelief. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I watched her with amusement, my expression unreadable. Telling you too soon would spoil the show. You all wanted to sacrifice me for your gain without asking if I was on board. Stepmom was about to lash out, her anger barely contained, but she remembered she was alone now and forced to smile. Oh, come on. We'd never sacrifice you. It doesn't really matter to me. You should start thinking about caring for your cost daughter and jailed husband. What do you mean? Nothing really. You know my dad's gambling debts, right? While you were busy in the hospital, I helped sort it out. I agreed to give the house to cover the debts. Maybe figure out how to get it back from them first. I chuckled coldly, taking large strides away from her, turning away, leaving stepmom's sharp curses behind. Maya had already been diagnosed as being in a vegetative state with little hope of waking up. My dad was arrested for attempted murder, a consequence of his own destructive choices. The news about my gambling addict stepfather trying to murder Maya spread widely, thanks in part to me, and it severely affected public opinion. The community was outraged, turning against the once respected family. To appease the public, my dad got a harsh sentence, nearly 20 years. On the day of the trial, I sat in the courtroom, my emotions a tangled mess of vindication and sorrow. I watched my dad break down in tears, desperately trying to show remorse to get a reduced sentence. I felt nothing. His pleas fell on deaf ears as the jury and spectators alike had already formed their judgments. He kept calling out for my stepmom, hoping she would help him, but she never showed up. She was busy at the hospital, taking care of Maya, her attention solely focused on preserving her own twisted version of the truth. Previously, she tried to get the house back from some loan sharks, underestimating the strength of our resolve. It ended up in a brawl, and she was beaten badly. She lost the baby she was carrying and it left her with severe injuries. At her age, she couldn't have any more kids. Maya is all she's got now, so she spends every day at the hospital praying for her to wake up, her face etched with worry and regret. The sunlight streamed through the window, bathing me in warmth, a stark contrast to the darkness that had consumed our family. But even while caring for her daughter, her life wasn't peaceful. Ryan, the son-in-law kicked out of the family, found her with my help. He blamed the mother and daughter for his downfall and kept demanding money from my stepmom, claiming losses he hadn't incurred. She's broke, with what little money she had not even covering a fraction of Ryan's previous expenses. She was also full of hatred towards Ryan. If not for him, her daughter wouldn't be lying in a hospital bed unconscious. The two were like fighting roosters, brawling non-stop until security had to be called to drag them out of the hospital. Their constant fighting created an unbearable environment filled with hostility and unresolved anger. As for me, I chose to leave that city and start a new life. The memories were too painful, the scars too deep. Because of my help, Ryan's ex-wife was able to see his true colors in time and avoid being threatened by my stepmom and Maya. Her relief was palpable as she distanced herself from the toxic family dynamics. She was grateful and gave me some money as thanks. It's enough for me to live the rest of my life comfortably without ever having to work again. The day I received the money, I stepped out of the bank, the weight of the past lifting off my shoulders. In the sunshine, I felt happier than ever, a sense of freedom washing over me. The future stretched out before me, full of possibilities and the promise of a fresh start, free from the shadows of betrayal and deceit that had once consumed my life.